No asylum or mental institution is a happy place. To say that these buildings have witnessed much suffering would be a huge understatement. The fact is, many patients were mistreated and even died. So here are 5 asylums that are believed to be haunted. Originally known as New Jersey Lunatic Asylum, the Trenton Psychiatric Hospital had always provided good care to its patients since it opened in 1848. That was before Dr. Henry Cotton took over. He brought supposedly new ideas on mental illness. Dr. Cotton had come to the conclusion that mental illness was in fact caused by infections of the body. In order to test and prove his wild theory, he began to remove patients' infected teeth, and even amputate infected limbs. He was put on review in 1924 following reported concern about his methods, but the New Jersey State Senate eventually approved his practices. He returned to work in 1925. Since antibiotics weren't widely used at the time, almost half of Dr. Cotton's patients died under his care. He retired in 1930, but the asylum continued to put his methods into practice well into the 1950s. Many ghost researchers and investigators have claimed to have seen Dr. Cotton on the old grounds. However, no photographic evidence exists to back up these claims. Built out of need due to other institutions being overcrowded, Whittington Hospital opened its doors in 1873. Right up to its closing in 1995, it was synonymous with mistreatment of patients as well as being both physical and sexual abuse. Staff reported strange events happening while the hospital was still open, and several apparent ghosts have been caught on camera since it closed its doors. One in particular was taken during a ghost tour of the building. It appeared to show a figure holding a newborn baby. What's interesting is that back in the late 19th century, becoming pregnant out of wedlock or as a teenager was enough to get a woman placed in an asylum, and this happened more than people might realise. The site is regarded as a paranormal hotspot. The Hudson River State Hospital for the Insane opened in 1871, but it would be a further 25 years until construction was fully complete. At its start, only 40 patients called the hospital home. At its height, 6,000 residents were being treated there. It finally shut in 2003. The property was sold to an unnamed buyer in November 2013. Numerous paranormal happenings have been reported by ghost investigators. In addition to hearing distressed voices and even seeing apparitions of former staff and patients, people also report being overcome with feelings of doom, sadness, and sudden depression. If that wasn't enough, objects have been reported to move unaided, while doors and windows have a habit of closing on their own accord. People have also seen shadow figures patrolling the hospital grounds. Adding to the chilling feel of the abandoned asylum, the body of a murdered woman was found there in March 2015. Considered one of the most haunted places in the United States, the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum has been associated with strange events and suspicious theories since its foundations were first laid. The fact that it's said to sit on 666 acres of grounds only added fuel to these theories. Some point to the fact that the building's dimensions are in fact the workings of secret and ancient Masonic formulas. After the foundations and shell had been built by prisoners, special stone masons were brought from Europe, specifically to work on the finer elements of the stone. Construction began on the asylum in 1858 and took over 20 years to complete, with it being officially finished in 1881. Patients had already been admitted since 1861. Although the initial plan was to house 250 patients, the eventual capacity was well over 2,000. As with many mental institutions and asylums of their time, some of the treatments carried out are now regarded as cruel and primitive, including lobotomies and very basic electric shock and chemical treatment. The walls of the asylum witnessed much pain and fear over the years. Modern-day hauntings are well documented, with shadowy figures being seen, people being physically pushed against walls, banging heard on pipes in the framework, and the alleged physical apparition of a black demon dog, all experienced by paranormal investigators. Over 3,000 patients are said to have died at Beechworth Lunatic Asylum, between 1867 when it was opened and its closure in 1995. During this transition, workmen would report hearing children laughing and playing, although no children were ever seen and none were on site. During a ghost tour of the area, one parent stated that she noticed her son talking to himself. When she questioned him about it, the boy replied saying he was speaking to a boy named James. Reports of people having their clothes pulled on are regular, as are sightings at the windows and footsteps in the hallways. One of the more well-known sightings is that of a woman who has been seen several times in the hospital grounds. Normally spotted under the window she was thrown out of by a fellow patient, she fell to her death. Other sightings include apparitions of the asylum staff, the most famous being that of a nurse. She was said to be a very good-hearted nurse who apparently sat and tried to comfort patients who were scheduled to undergo electric shock treatment. So that was 5 haunted asylums. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more countdown videos.